You're watching what we're currently calling Jester Jesters Goes Viral. I call myself Jonathan Hearn. We're putting this out at about 8 p.m. on Monday the 23rd of March 2020. Normally at this time... What? Aha! Yes, I'm in. Last week I was banished from the earth by some kind of supernatural alter ego of a biological brother of mine. Then his usual ego, Patrick, hijacked this show, creating season 2, consisting of one episode. This Monday, today, he's created season 3, but just as a rerun of season 1, using a clone of me from the 23rd of March. Meanwhile, out here in space, I've managed to do an online course in exposition and also get myself into low Earth orbit, which is my star sign. And his. On the plus side, I've had some respite from all the chemtrails. Oh, and the global pandemic, which apparently can't get into space. Maybe there's a cure in that. But I need to get back down there. There's no down in space. And reclaim our show. I say our show, but it's usually shorter than that. I still have this. Lock to this universe. Set coordinates. They couldn't do this in sliders. John, you look great. Oh, you too. You've inspired me to try the moustache again. What's going on? You're me from the 23rd of March. It is the 23rd of March. It's the 25th of May. Oh my God, am I still going to be doing this show then? I'm afraid so. How many views do we get? I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to take back our show. I decided to use a force push there rather than a punch to keep up social distancing. Welcome to Jester Jesters Goes Viral. Yes, this is Jester Jesters Goes Viral. You know what they say, there's no time like 8 p.m. on a Monday. We'd usually be live downstairs at the Betsy Trotwood, London, UK. People have submitted audio-visual pieces which make up this episode. I've blown my load with that high-concept cold open and the bit I do at the end. My clone is unconscious on the floor. Let's get this started. First up, Chris Timoney.
Are your children suffocating under the breathy eye of lockdown rule? Has fear and loneliness had a negative effect on their developmental health? Has self-isolated childcare left you feeling isolated, claustrophobic, sober, understimulated, with significantly less time to properly socialize with your friends and yourself? If the answer to any of these is yes, maybe, then look no further than the Shrimrice Reminiscence Boy, or REM Boy for short. Finally, a solution to your children. Rather than risk problematic journeys across country, hiding from the watchful mouth of government, or soiling 3 sheets of national quarantine to evacuate your boys and daughter to the north, the REM Boy allows you to stay at home without the exhausting task of entertaining or talking to your children yourself. The semi-portable REM Boy system uses a state-of-the-art 2-way BCI, brain-computer interface, that allows a child to take part in a realistic, lecture-like interview scenario, comfortably fitting into a leather-sized gentleman's briefcase. This compact tabletop entertainment system is ideal for any child feeling lonely or unloved. With a wide range of realistic personality engram cartridges for your child to choose from, they will be captivated for hours upon minutes. Your child will have the pleasure of enjoying such characters as elderly war veteran, boy on the bus from school, concerned air hostess, very happy child entertainer, and excited astronaut ready for launch. But how does it work? The REM Boy works by simply placing a single 5-kilogram cut of premium butcher choice quality red or white meat into the REM Boy's pressurized chamber crash. This contains a patented synaptic BCI cradle mesh. Take care to make sure that the cut is always facing the sun, checking that each of the steel upright testing probes has firmly, securely, and evenly pierced into every inch of the 5-kilogram slab of meat. Take your time. Remember, it always tests best when the fresh flesh is resting west within the mesh and crash. Never ever substitute high-quality meat with cheap fatty cuts, mince, sea mollusks, squid bits, or giblets. Only a dense mass of premium quality animal protein is fit to maintain a stable positronic heuristic unilateral neural topography lattice, or FUNT lattice for short. Loose meats and flesh bits can result in an unstable and terrifying personality framework, such as perverted murderous necropedophile cannibal, or shameless totalitarian politician, but more often than not it will always be a combination of the two. Once the meat has been safely locked away in its creche, use both keys provided to lock the chamber. Fasten the EEG cap to your child's head and lock it with the key provided. Attach the microphone headset with the remaining key, then administer the injections labeled 1B and 1A. The first injection goes directly into any vein you can find on your child, followed by injection 1A, directly into the REM boy's rubber injection hole. Do not confuse these steps or injections, as both injections contain very different amounts of potentially toxic retro-engineered stem, nerve, and sperm cells. Once connected and injected, turn on your REM boy by pushing a finger down all the way in on the wake button for 2 minutes. You should see a steady green light. Choose a synaptic personality cartridge. Blow on it, and load it into the top slot of the REM boy. Then push all the way down, all the way in, with your other finger, on the purge button. The light should now be throbbing green. A vivid conversational world of vague yet vivid memories awaits your child to vigorously question the REM boy about. After which point the various organic material assets will rapidly begin to burn out and degrade. If a REM job looks like it might exceed the recommended 8-hour window, you must disconnect your child and stop the system immediately. You must also stop the system immediately if you encounter any of the following. The REM boy system starts asking your child its own questions. The unit smells strongly of cooked meat, or your child's voice drastically begins to change in front of your eyes. The system's unit begins to emanate a wailing sound, and the light changes to a blinding, flashing green light. Remain calm. It's only superheated steam escaping from the pressurized meat chamber. Calmly remove the red safety cap from emergency injection B, then press down firmly on the plunger until the screaming stops. Emergency injection B is an extremely effective low-temperature cocktail designed to cool down and neutralize the meat indefinitely. No matter how tempted or delicious the cooked meat might smell, never ever let you or your child consume the meat after REM job completion. It will be rendered tainted from a relentless flooding of stress, adrenaline, and fear. Not only will the meat taste bitter and unpalatable, but in rare cases it can also lead to a mild, permanent personality deformation, all 4 limb pits becoming unendingly sweaty, a poorly tummy, or a vague smell of piss. If you are too late or unsuccessful in releasing your child from a particularly turbulent REM job, there are only 2 things you can do in this scenario. First, smash the REM boy unit to reveal the emergency injection C. Inject this directly into your child's swollen tongue. Secondly, stay away. Go to your nearest phone box and call the police. Remember, children must always ask Mummy or Daddy before using a REM boy.
And now, Sadie Gibson.
Are you trying to draw something?
What? No, I suck at drawing.
Oh, come on. I bet you're not that bad. No, you don't understand. I am really bad at drawing. Dude, just give it a shot. I want to see. God damn it! Wow. You really are bad at drawing. I told you! Okay, well, I'm out of here. Wish me luck. Where are you going again? Oh. Yeah, I probably should have figured that one out already. Dude, you gotta check out this song. What is it? Just listen. Holy shit. This is amazing. Hold on, I'm gonna play it on the speaker.
Happy birthday to you.
This is blowing my mind. Huh. Never smoked vape before. Don't do it. I'm gonna do it. Dude, don't do it. I'm going to do it. Do not do it. I'm going to do it. Do not do it. I'm going to do it. Do not do it. What are you reading? I am reading the magical spell book. Here, check this out. This is the funny hat spell. Hattus Pattus. Huh. Cool. Warning. The funny hat spell also kills people. What?
Next, Declan Kennedy.
Hi, welcome to every podcast you've ever listened to in lockdown. I'm your host, who, despite being an industry professional with an impressive track record, somehow I still haven't grasped how to do this, and I'm talking too quietly, and I haven't planned what I'm going to say, so I can't really explain what it's about without getting out of breath, or being very elliptical, or really making much sense at all. My fantastically contrived awkwardness makes this really difficult to listen to. Hi, I'm Guest. I'm way too confident, but I try to offset it by being really self-deprecating in a nauseating way, like, hey, who'd want to hear what a schmuck like me thinks? Dominic Cummings is a massive shit. So, what is the most obscure, scary, or cliched thing you remember seeing on television as a kid, which we're going to pretend is the most amazingly profound, life-shaking piece of art you've ever experienced? Well, to set the scene, I'm going to prove my artistic legitimacy by alluding to a quirky and abnormal family life. We grew up in a monastery that was actually a caravan, so at Vespers, me and the 18 Benedict monks we lived with would stop birching ourselves long enough to watch telly. There are only 4 channels back then. Everybody knows it, because we all have access to history and we don't need it pointing out ceaselessly. Hi. This is a smug trail for all the other podcasts on this network, which is very, very ill-timed. Have you listened to Embarrassing Smells? Each week, a famous person who will get us massive sponsorship deal talks about how they made an embarrassing smell. If you've ever wanted to know what odour Ryland Clark has left in Waterstones, listen to Embarrassing Smells. Embarrassing Smells. This podcast is part of the Masculine Wasp Network. Hi, you're listening to blah 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 blah. I'm bored of this now. Guest, can you hint at some high-profile work you're doing at the moment? Dominic Cummings is all credit for the music in this goes to Ben Sound at bensound.com.
Next, we have Paul Thomas Burke.
Besides the couples living together, I'd be curious to know how many people broke the lockdown to go and see their partner. I'm sure for quite a few, the extent of their social responsibility was the same distance that they would be willing to cycle for the ride. Besides the couples and those increasingly fit fuckers, the rest of us have had to do with corrupting our internet history, driving up the price of toilet paper, abusing our batteries and having a wank. In terms of a virus having an adverse effect on our sex lives, there was certainly a lot more blowjobs to be had during the AIDS epidemic. But that was during the 80s. Do you think if the lockdown had happened during the 80s, that there would have been a spike in the sale of pornographic magazines? Pre-mobiles, pre-internet. I'm not sure. Back in the pre-online porn days, the top shelf was all about well-lit anatomy and nothing else. For the hard stuff, you had to go to a specialist shop, buy a Mac, and then get a bus into Soho. Your shiny Mac was your entry card into the famous sex shops of the West End, where they sold hardcore pornography that was simply unimaginable. And I mean that, completely unimaginable. The younger viewers may not realise this, but erections were not invented until the mid-90s and Liam Gallagher took to the stage. During the 80s, the only porn I had ever seen was a magazine found under the bush in the park. It was the same magazine that the whole country shared. It would appear for 3 days before the porn fairy took it off to the next group of semen-saturated 12-year-olds. It was a special magazine. Found under a bush, damp from the morning dew and every teenager who had seen it to that point. It was an amazing thing. It really was a different time. And never again will boys inspect bushes with such intent. But that was it. That was all you had. You had the top shelf, the park bush, or the neon doorways of Soho, where the people shopping there were seen and judged as a subclass. And it was a universal. They were the lowest of the low. They were degenerates. They were perverts. And if those perverts had any idea about the sort of stuff that you've been looking at in the past week, they would be appalled. That's how much things have changed. Forget even buying stuff. People now send complete strangers introductory messages with the most graphic, hardcore, pornographic content that you wouldn't get that in the whole of Soho during the 80s. It's a different world. So the world is completely different, save for one respect, and that is you still need your shiny Mac for access. Though for a pandemic situation, I highly recommend also having a girlfriend with a filthy imagination.
And finally,
Patrick Hearn.
I know there's been a lot of confusion about the government's messaging regarding coronavirus. Now, at first they told us to wash our hands, and that must have come naturally from a Tory government that's used to washing its hands of responsibility for any of its actions over the last 10 years. But also, when you've got the blood of tens of thousands of your own citizens on your hands, just does not come off. And like Macbeth, no matter how much they scrub, it just would not go away. Is this austerity I see before me? It's political. So I found it difficult writing material because I just see my own house. I don't go out anywhere. I don't go to work. I don't commute. I'm not going to the pub. I'm not really talking to anyone during the day. I'm not really seeing anything. I'm not following the news because it was driving me insane. So I'm finding it very difficult to write material that isn't about the specific audiobook I'm listening to right now. So what I'm going to do is I keep a notes app, and I'm just going to skim through that and then just see anything that pops up. I'm going to say it, then I'm going to cut it together really shitly, and that's going to be what I put out today. Trapped in an audiobook prison of my own making. Lizard folk wrestling match. Hot air ball dryer. For the last few weeks before lockdown, this was driving me out of my mind. Buy 10 cups, get the 11th for free. There's 12 dots on here. What they've done is the first one here, they've said, the first one's on us. And then there's 10 more, and then there's a little heart. There's actually 12 on here. You still have to buy 10 cups of coffee, get the 11th for free. The first one's on us, but it's not the first one. It's not the first one of the 10. It's the first one of 11. So it's buy 11 cups of coffee, get the 12th one for free, but the first one's on us. Made in Chelsea with zombies. Saw some beatniks in the park. I've got the hand-eye coordination of a T-Rex. It's kind of funny. I saw a Hovis lorry the other day. I live quite close to a big Hovis bakery, so they go past quite a lot. On it says, Hovis bread since 1886. As good today as it's always been. Which to me smacks of a certain lack of ambition on Hovis's part. That in 134 years they haven't tried to make their bread any better than it was in the Victorian era. And they do have, they're resting on their laurels, but actually the laurels. So I thought Hovis had laurels, but it's a bread. It's bread. That's what their logo is, bread. A little kid pushing a. Oh, he's got too much. Like the little kid pushing the bicycle with the bread. You know, he's got too much loaded onto him. They should hire two. They just hire two guys. Tactical sandwich orientations. What if my comfort zone is my happy place? Look at the lonely hearts column. But then all hearts are lonely. Except Dr. Who's. So I saw the golf courses have opened up again. What I like to do when I play golf is I just look at the little number next to this hole and I just write that same number in as my score. I do that the whole way around. The other golfers, they don't really like that though. I think it's a bit of a faux pas. I've always thought of myself as quite a friendly person, but what this lockdown has shown me is that I'm actually a lot more acquaintancely. I used to be a fan of things, or at least I thought I was a fan of things, and then I met other people who were fans of that thing, and then realised that I'm not really a fan of it. I just quite like it. But they seem to base their whole personality around which TV show or movie series they like, and that's definitely something I used to do, and now I just don't have anything to base my personality around. I haven't been watching the briefings. I saw the first few and then realised that I'll probably find out if they say I'm allowed to go out and see people. So there's not really any point. But I do at about 5 p.m. every day hear my neighbour shouting bullshit loudly at the TV repeatedly. So I've got a good sense of what's going on. Chain link fence. If Boris wants to be Churchill, well, he's found his Gallipoli. Or there'll be flies! Endless flies. Is it Oatly or is it Oatly? Should we be saying like Oatly? Oatly. Should we be pronouncing the T so it sounds like totally? Oatly. Oatly. Or is it just Oatly? Everyone I've ever spoken to calls it Oatly. But I get the feeling they meant it to be Oatly. Oh, that is Oatly amazing. Oatly. I think because we don't pronounce the T often. Oatly. 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 See, I can hear a T there, but there's definitely no T. Oatly. 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 Oatly? Oatly. Anyway, it's quite nice. I'm recording this for an hour and a half. I'm trying to make 5 minutes worth of material. There's going to be enough shit here now. Okay, I'm stopping. Oh, I forgot. John, he's not your clone.
And that's it. Thanks to all our John tributors. Thank you for watching. Head over to jesterjesters.com if you fancy John tributing Fine Ant Johnily. Next week... Hey, John. I don't think I'm a clone. I'm not the clone. You're the clone. No, I'm not doing that. I think Patrick transported me into the future just as I was doing the episode, which means if I don't get back, then that episode will never have happened, and therefore this episode will never happen. This is the most important thing right now. I'll tell you what, use that. It's locked to this universe, Set the time coordinate to 8 p.m. 23rd of March. They couldn't do this on Sliders. It's not the thing from Sliders. What's with the coat? That's to match up with the clip that I stole. You'd need to let your hair down as well. I'll set it a few hours later just to avoid meeting myself and also to be a bit younger. That's why the first episode went out so late. And I feel so young. Tell me, does it get easier making the episodes? Next week's episode will be hosted by Timoney, and he'll finally be sharing his recipe for bubble balls. See you next week.